Okay, I'm going to install these floating shelves. There's two of them right above this sink wall right here. Okay, I made the bracket that's going on the wall, just made them out of 2x2s. Just screwed 2 screws in each one into this. I have a support every 14 inches, and you're going to want to make sure that it's level everywhere, all 3 sides. Make sure it's level. And then one thing you got to remember when installing floating shelves is you actually want to install it so that the bubble's there, because when you get the weight of the shelf on there, it'll come down. So have these going up a little bit, because the weight of the shelf will pull it back down to level. Okay, so now the shelf, this is 2.5 inches. It's just going to slide right inside here. Make sure it's tied up underneath. And this is what I mean. Once you get the weight of the shelf on there, that bubble actually is now level. So install the sticks, the supports underneath at an angle a bit. What I like to do to get these installed at a little bit of an angle is I'll go up under here and I'll sneak a shim up behind it, bust it off, and that'll force this whole apparatus up. But don't do too much, just enough to where there's plenty of weight, it won't go down. So notice now, when you push down weight here, that bubble centers. So when we're putting plates and dishes, anything that you want to put on your floating shelf, that weight will actually push that. Push down here, and that'll push that down to level, and it won't go down this far too much. And then finally, so I can slide this way and that way, you want to leave a little bit of play so that you can adjust. So I got about 9 1/4 there. Sorry, maybe just a bit over. And then from here to that line, about 9 1/4. Another little trick is that you can actually hot melt, because if you're installing this by yourself, they're kind of hard to install. But if you like I put hot melt on here all the way across, and I'm gonna set it up in place right now, and then that will hold it until I screw it into the wall. So it's just being held in by hot melt right now. But then again, you just want to make sure you make your marks before you hang it up. So I leveled it. I mean, that's how far I wanted it to go to the right, that line, and then with this line, this is how far I wanted it to go to the left. And then mark your studs. And then once you have your studs marked, you can pre-drill and then drill with a 3-inch screw. And finally, you want to use 100% silicone and go through and silicone underneath. You can see that little shiny line. I already put a bead of silicone there. See that shiny line there, and that shiny line up there. That'll hold the floating shelf in place. And also, if you spill some water up here, the silicone will keep the water from getting behind the wall. One quick note, when you do apply a bead of silicone up here, after you apply the bead, it should be about 1/8 of an inch to not bigger than 1/4 of an inch. You take your finger and you push it up inside that seam, and then you can just wipe the excess off. If you're wondering about spacing in between the shelves, if it's going above a sink, you want there to be around 27 inches or so, give or take a few inches. I always like to have about 12 inches in between. That's pretty standard. 12 inches in between the two shelves. And up here, I'd like to have 12, but there's only room for 11.